Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Max Sports Entertainment. My name is Deepak Shankar, and we are here to recap three more Game 2s of the NBA playoffs as they roll on. And so, first game tonight, Sixers Celtics, and truly a shocking result. Even as a Sixers fan, first off, got to shout out the hat, VJ Max, let's go. Sixers Nation, you know what time it is, let's go. Hell of a win by the Sixers, hell of a bounce back after a truly brutal game one in all facets. And the Sixers win over the Celtics 111-97. And so, yeah, just a much better game from the Sixers, just especially intensity wise from the second quarter on. Offensively, being much more assertive, getting shots earlier in the shot clock, playing much better defense, having much better intensity. You can see in the body language of the players on the bench, etc. So, yeah, that was just great to see. And then it was just, yeah, much needed bounce back after a rough game one. Things were looking bleak. Couldn't make any wide open layups. Couldn't stop anybody. It was just rough all around. But the Sixers, they answered the call today in a big way. And so, yeah, it started off a little bit rough there in the first quarter. The Celtics got off to a 10-point lead, and you were thinking, oh, is this going to be another repeat of game one again? Celtics are going to easily go up 2-0, probably sweep the Sixers, but Philly responded, and they responded in a big way from the second quarter on. And it was led by none other than VJ Edgecombe, the 20-year-old, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Unbelievable performance by him. Just scored a variety of different ways. Fifth youngest player in NBA history to score 30 points in a playoff game. I believe the youngest since Tim Duncan. All sorts of stats. For him to do what he did in only his second playoff game in his rookie year against one of the best teams in the NBA, one of the best defenses in the NBA, in the Boston Celtics, just an unbelievable performance by him. Answered the call. Same with Tyrese Maxey completing VJ Max, another really good game for him. 29, 4, and 9 to go along with 2 steals. He did have some rough stretches in this game, especially in the third quarter. And there was some worry about that, where maybe there was a finger injury. He wasn't looking to be as aggressive. Had one or two turnovers that were a bit head scratching, but he was able to bounce back from that. And boy, oh boy, did he show up in the fourth quarter! Hit a couple of huge threes, took over at the end of the game, had the and one, had that crazy step back where he broke the one guy's ankle for the Celtics. It was just an unbelievable fourth quarter display by Maxey. And yeah, those two, the Sixers starting backcourt, really just took the game over, took the game away from Boston. And yeah, they were able to tie the series up 1-1. Paul George had a nice night again, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. So really contributing in a lot of ways. And then for the Celtics, Tatum, not his best night, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal as well. Jaylen Brown played really well. It was really the only Celtic to really show up in a big way. 36 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And we can tell a lot with the Celtics, where they're a very high volume 3-point shooting team, and for the most part, it works out for them. They win a lot of games. But on nights like this, when they only shoot 13 of 50 from 3, 26%, they're very vulnerable, and it showed tonight. And they're susceptible to nights like this because they're a very high variance team because of the high volume 3-point shooting. And they go by the old saying, live by the 3, die by the 3. And today they died by the 3. And so it was the total opposite of game one. The Sixers, on the other hand, much better. After having only made 4 threes in game one, they made 19 tonight, 19 of 39 for 49%. And you're obviously going to win a lot of games when you do that. It's a make or miss league, as they always say. And so, yeah, both took the same amount of shots. Celtics did get more rebounds and shot the ball 11 more times. Shot 11 more threes, actually, than the Sixers did, despite the total field goals being about the same, but they just weren't as efficient. And then, yeah, in terms of the Total stats, the Celtics had 8 more rebounds, especially 6 more offensive rebounds. So that does continue to be a problem for the Sixers, but it's one of those things that seemingly never goes away as an issue. So you just have to keep overcoming that. And six plus 6 assists for the Celtics in terms of that advantage for them. Sixers had 3 more steals. Celtics had 4 more turnovers. Points of the paint, Celtics had 6 more. And then, in terms of the lead, the Sixers had the lead primarily from the second quarter on. So they led for 66% of the time. And so it was just an absolutely, it was just a shockingly great game to see from the Sixers, against a team who's historically owned them over the years, many different iterations of the team, of each team. And so, it was just a great performance all around. And it was also good to see, Joel Embiid tweeting LFG after the game, and Tyrese Maxey and BJ Edgecombe being happy but not too happy because they know this is what they're capable of, and they realize that the job's not done. And then this also, potentially buys more time for Joel Embiid to come back from his appendix surgery and be back on the court. So, if the series goes into a Game 6, Game 7, who knows? He could be back. So, things looking up for the Sixers. Game 3 on Friday suddenly becomes very interesting. And, the series is tied at 1-1, heading back to Philly on Friday night. And then the second game of the day, Blazers and the Spurs, and another shocking result. The Blazers tie up the series. They beat the Spurs in San Antonio 106-103. And the story of this game really was Victor Wembanyama. He drives into the paint early on and really hits his head hard onto the floor. Looks like he passes out for a second. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he did enter concussion protocol, and it did look like he kind of got his bell rung. So obviously, hoping for the best for him. You hate to see it for one of the league's youngest and brightest stars. So, just kind of took the wind out of the sails for the Spurs for a little bit. But ironically, they did have a 14-point lead early in the fourth quarter, but they ended up blowing it. And, they just couldn't finish the deal. The offense dried up late in the game for the Blazers. Scoot Henderson played really well in the clutch. Robert Williams, a big-time putback on a Denny Avdia shot. Toomey Camara hit some big-time threes. So just a good all-around effort from the Blazers. Scoot Henderson, speaking about him, it was good to see this type of performance from him. It's only a second playoff game, and if you remember from that draft, it was Victor Wembanyama and then Scoot Henderson, the two kind of going back and forth, who is the better prospect. And a lot of people, chose Scoot because they were worried about, Wemby's frame and how he'd adjust to the NBA, the physicality change, and all that sort of stuff. And then Scoot, prototypical point guard. They'd already played each other in the G League, Ignite League, and it looked very even between the two. Where both looked really good overall, but unfortunately his career hasn't panned out like that in these first couple of years, unlike with Victor. But he was able to have one of those nights of a top 5 pick that he was, and was able to show his talent on full display. So it was good to see that from him, and hopefully he can continue to build on that going forward. He was the primary player for the Blazers in terms of delivering baskets and delivering big-time shots whenever they needed it the most. Drew Holiday, 16, 5, and 9. Denny Avdia, not his best night for someone who had a career year like himself, but 14, 4, and 3 for him to go along with 1 block. For the Spurs, Wemby exits the game early, but for the little time that he did play, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. For others, Stephon Castle, 18, 7, and 5, to go along with 2 steals and a block. De'Aaron Fox, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. And so the Spurs actually had more bench points, but at the end of the day, they weren't able to close the deal. And they'll definitely look at this one as an opportunity that slipped away And one, you never know, that could come back to bite him, because depending on how long Victor Wembanyama is out, they're gonna have to play at least one, if not multiple games without him, especially with two of those at least being in Portland, so on the road. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But yeah, in terms of the stats, pretty even all around. But the Blazers did make 6 more threes than the Spurs, so that hurt them. Just the shooting for San Antonio was just not there. I mean, you could really feel Wemby's presence not there for both shooting and for defense as well. At the end of the game, with the gravity that he has, and the guy who just won, the first ever unanimous Defensive Player of the Year award. I believe earlier today or yesterday. So, yeah, in terms of the team stats, yeah, like I said, pretty even across the board in a lot of different categories. The Spurs had 5 more steals. Rebounding was about the same. Blocks, the Blazers had 6 more blocks, where I'm sure if Wemby was playing, that would have been a lot closer, or the Spurs would have had more blocks. So that ended up being a difference with Donovan Clingan and other guys for the Blazers just being a problem for especially those San Antonio guards like Harper and Castle trying to get to the rim, De'Aaron Fox. So points in the paint about the same. In terms of who led majority of the game, it was actually, San Antonio for 52%. The Blazers 38%. So it was a very back and forth tight game. And Spurs, credit to them, great comeback. And they win by 3 at the very end, where Devin Vassell was not able to tie it up with that corner 3 as a last-ditch effort. But yeah, the Blazers get it done. They tie the series at 1-1. Series heads back to Portland. And so, yeah, another one of these playoff series that is tied at 1, going into the underdog team's home court. So exciting stuff as always. And the last game of the night was the Lakers and the Rockets, as the Lakers beat the Rockets 101-94. In this game, Kevin Durant did come back. He did play. He had a brilliant first half, 20 points, made all his free throws. I believe it was 6 of 6 from the line, and then 6 of 7 from the field. But then that dried up in the second half. I mean, he only had 3 more points in the second half. The Lakers made some adjustments. Credit to JJ Redick. They started doubling him from all different areas of the court. Made it really tough and frustrating on him, and you could tell that it was getting to him. Wasn't able to score to the usual ability that someone like Kevin Durant has shown over the course of his career. They were doubling him a lot. Basically, the plan being anyone else besides Kevin Durant is going to beat us, and that resulted in him only having 12 shot attempts throughout the whole game and 9 turnovers. So, yeah, just a lot of careless passes by him that led to a lot of turnovers and easy buckets for the Lakers. But it was still an efficient night for Kevin Durant, 23, 6, and 4, a steal and a block. But he would definitely look back on this game as an opportunity that slipped by, and a game that definitely does not meet his standards, and a game where he should have played better, given the stakes and given how well he played in the first half. And so, yeah, for the Rockets, it's just, the same old story. I mean, I think even with the, trade with Kevin Durant, to acquire Kevin Durant, they just haven't been able to consistently put up good offensive performances. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I believe they're the first or second worst offensive team in the playoffs right now. And it's crazy to have a player like Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers, if not the greatest scorer in the history of the league, and still be a bad offensive team. I mean, it's just doesn't comprehend with me. I mean, you look at the numbers, and Alperen Sengun 20, 11, and 5. Amen Thompson 16, 5, and 9. Jabari Smith 18, 6, and 1. But when you watch these games, you don't feel those numbers in the game and feel their impact, especially on the offensive end. It just seems like a lot of those guys, besides Kevin Durant, just can't consistently create their own shot in the half court. They have trouble with that, and hitting open shots, etc. So it's just, they don't run a lot of offense too. It's a lot of one-on-one. So it's just a tough proposition when you're trying to win in April, May, and June, aka playoff time. And so, Yeah, they just weren't able to get it done. And off the bench, too, they only had 10 points from Tari Eason, and even that was on 14 shots. Whereas they had four other guys off the bench who didn't score at all. So, and the Lakers, it was kind of the same thing, actually. Jackson Hayes, 6 points off the bench. Nobody else besides him scored off the bench. But yeah, for the Lakers, LeBron, the king, the ageless wonder, 28, 8 and 7, one steal, just doing what he always does. It's crazy. 41 years old, having been in the league as long as he has, still putting up these types of performances, being asked to carry the team. No Luka, no Austin Reeves, and he just still finds a way to get it done. It's just absolutely incredible. And so yeah, he led the way for them. But they also got nice contributions again from Luke Kennard tonight, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Marcus Smart, too, 25, 2 and 7, 5 steals, and a block. And then Luke Kennard, 3 steals. So they were both doing it on both ends of the floor. Yeah, just a very important win for the Lakers. It buys more time for Luka and Austin Reeves to be able to come back from their respective injuries. And yeah, things looking up for the Lakers. Yeah, in terms of shots, Rockets, they shot the ball 17 more times. They're really good at, points in the paint, rebounding, all those sorts of things. But in terms of shooting and ball movement and things like that, they're just severely lacking. But the Lakers were, despite having shot the ball 17 fewer times, were more efficient, shot a better percentage. They shot the same amount of threes, but the Lakers made 6 more threes. You look at these stats. Once again, the Rockets dominating the boards, especially offensive rebounds, +8 in that category. Steals, the Lakers did have 3 more. Points in the paint, Rockets +20 in that category, as we spoke about before, with them, controlling the boards, controlling the paint. A lot of bigger players that they have. I mean, their whole starting lineup, I feel like, is 6'8" and above. So just a very athletic and big team in terms of size. Houston is, and percent led. The Lakers 80%, Rockets 16%. And I mean, that make it seem like it was a one-sided game. The Lakers were kind of in control, but it was very tight for the majority of the game, and the Lakers never really had a big, sizable lead where it felt like the Rockets were totally out of it. They were always within reach all the way really until the very end, but they could just never be able to tie the game and or take the lead. The others for the Rockets besides Kevin Durant, they just couldn't show up, including even someone like Alperen Şengün, who's been an all-star, someone like Amen Thompson, who has all-star potential. So it's, just a tough one for the Rockets, one that they'll look on and think, how do we not get at least one of these games in LA, given the circumstances, especially tonight when Kevin Durant did come back. But the Lakers, they go up 2-0, series shifts to Houston, and now the Rockets are in a situation where to keep their season alive, they have to win 4 out of 5 games. We'll see if they can get that done. That's all I had. Those were the 3 NBA playoff games for today. Got a couple more tomorrow. And that's all I had. Appreciate you guys for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with family and friends, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.